Wow. What is this place?
Welcome to Cloud 9.
How exactly did I get here?
You're a Toyota Crown driver. And only Crown drivers ever reach this level of pure bliss. The refined but elegant design makes you sit up a little straighter. It gives you a rush of confidence as soon as you're behind the wheel and a feeling of all eyes on you. That's how the Crown transports you here. It's pretty awesome, right?
The captivating Toyota Crown family. Toyota, let's go places.
State Farm and DJ Dramos from Life as a Gringo know making smarter financial moves today secures your financial freedom for a successful tomorrow.
Tackle these situations in stride and yeah, of course, be annoyed when an unplanned expense comes up, but not let it be something that slows me down, right? As I did with repairing my credit, hiring somebody to do credit repair for me. That was a gift that I gave myself that allowed me to then, get my first apartment.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. State Farm, proud sponsor of My Cultura Podcast Network.
You're ready for a comeback. And with Purdue Global, you can do more than take classes. You can take charge of your story, of your career, of your life. Earn a degree you can be proud of and get an education employers respect. It's time, your time, not just to go back to school, but to come back and move forward with Purdue Global, Purdue's online university for working adults. Start your comeback at purdueglobal.edu.
Plug in a Hyundai EV and the extraordinary happens. From the charge time and range in the Ioniq 5 and 6 to the adventurous spirit of the Kona Electric to the 601 horsepower Ioniq 5N. Hyundai EVs make the extraordinary electrifying. There's joy in every journey.
EPA estimated 303-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 5 SE SEL limited rear-wheel drive and 361-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 6 SE long-range rear-wheel drive with fully charged battery. Actual range may vary. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
Hey listeners, it's Jenny. It's the final day of our Best Of month honoring the back-to-school season. We'd be remiss if we didn't include the final piece of the educational puzzle, teachers. We've covered a ton of teachers, but with just one remaining day, we settled on an iconic story that exemplifies the difference educators can truly make. So, on to the show. From Wonder Media Network, I'm Jenny Kaplan, and this is Womanica. Today's warrior was a pioneering American educator, an education activist, civil rights activist, stateswoman, philanthropist, writer, and humanitarian. Known as the First Lady of the Struggle, she spent her entire life battling to better the lives of African Americans. Let's talk about Mary McLeod Bethune. Mary was born on July 10, 1875, in Maysville, South Carolina. She was one of the youngest of Samuel and Patsy McLeod's 17 children. Mary's parents were former slaves who worked and saved to buy their own plot of land from Patsy's former owners after emancipation. They then began growing their own cotton. From age 5, Mary worked in the fields at her family's farm. By age 9, it's said that Mary could pick an astonishing 250 pounds of cotton a day. Though Mary was born into a large family, she was the only child to attend school. She walked 5 miles to and from the local school, and when she returned home, she would teach the rest of her family what she'd learned that day. Mary found a lifelong mentor in her teacher, Emma Jane Wilson, who recognized Mary's talents and encouraged her to further her education. Wilson helped Mary get a scholarship to her alma mater, Scotia Cemetery, which Mary graduated from in 1894. The next year, Mary moved to Chicago to attend Dwight Moody's Institute for Home and Foreign Missions, now called the Moody Bible Institute. Her goal was to become a missionary in Africa, but Mary found that no church would sponsor her mission and was told that Black missionaries to Africa weren't needed. If she couldn't do missionary work, Mary decided she would become a teacher instead. After graduation, Mary moved back down to South Carolina, where she began her teaching career. Not long after, she met fellow teacher Albertus Bethune, and the two were married. In 1899, Mary gave birth to a son. The Bethunes then decided to leave South Carolina for Palatka, Florida. At first, Mary's days consisted of selling insurance and putting in long volunteer hours at her local Presbyterian church. But when her marriage failed in 1904, Mary was determined to find a better way to support her young son and a more meaningful way to devote herself to her community. She decided to open up a boarding school for African American girls. Mary's school maintained extremely high educational standards, of which Mary was quite proud, proving to prejudiced doubters that African Americans were just as intelligent and able to attain as high a level of education as their white counterparts. Mary's school eventually became a college, and Mary served as its president from 1923 to 1942. This made her one of only a few women in the world at the time to hold such a position. In 1929, Mary's college merged with the all-male Cookman Institute to form the co-ed Bethune-Cookman College. The new college began issuing degrees in 1943 and served as a pioneer in setting very high educational standards for other Black colleges and educational institutions. The college is still thriving today as Bethune-Cookman University.
This is Bronson, Annex, and Hall. I'm going to be showing Annex side, so follow me in and I'll show you.
Mary was a lifelong advocate for racial and gender equality. She was heavily involved in local and national political movements and organizations throughout her life. After starting a number of local women's clubs and heading voter registration drives after women received the vote in 1920, Mary was elected president of the National Association of Colored Women's Clubs in 1924. In 1935, she was named the first president of the National Council of Negro Women. Mary was also involved in the exodus of Black voters from the Republican Party to the Democratic Party in the aftermath of the Great Depression. Mary was a personal friend of Eleanor Roosevelt's, and she was invited to take part in President Franklin Roosevelt's administration. This included a position as a leader of FDR's unofficial but very famous Black cabinet. There she advised him on the concerns and issues prevalent within her community. In 1936, FDR chose Mary to serve as Director of Negro Affairs of the National Youth Administration, making her the highest-ranking Black woman in the American government at the time. She remained in that position until 1944. In 1937, Mary organized an important conference to specifically address and fight back against the discrimination and the continued lynchings that terrorized Black communities. Just 3 years later, she was elected vice president of the NAACP. She held that position for the rest of her life. In 1945, Mary was appointed by President Truman to take part in the founding conference of the United Nations. She was the only woman of color in attendance. When not running a college, doing important work for the government, or working for organizations to advance the rights and create the space for her community, Mary regularly wrote for two of the leading African American newspapers of the day, the Chicago Defender and the Pittsburgh Courier. She also co-founded a life insurance company based in Tampa and co-owned a Florida beach resort. Suffice it to say, Mary probably didn't have much free time. Mary died in 1955. She was 80 years old. In his obituary, columnist Louis E. Martin wrote, "She gave out faith and hope as if they were pills, and she some sort of doctor." In 1974, Mary's life and achievements were honored with a memorial statue in Washington, D.C., and in 1985 with a memorial stamp. Her last home is a National Historic Site. Thanks for listening to this Best Of episode of Womanica. For more information, find us on Facebook and Instagram at Womanica Podcast. Special thanks to Liz Kaplan, my favorite sister and co-creator. Tune in tomorrow for the beginning of a brand new theme. Talk to you then.
Lucky Land Slots, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Haha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Have you spent a regrettable amount of time scrolling through shows and praying for something new, or hearing about a show but having no idea where to find it? We all have. Head over to The Hollywood Reporter and check out THR Charts to find a menu of all the streamers' biggest shows, what's trending, reviews, and where to watch these great shows and films. The Hollywood Reporter is the source for insider entertainment news. Visit THR.com today and follow us at Hollywood Reporter on all your social platforms.
Kroger brand products have the great taste you'll celebrate. That's why over 40 million people choose Kroger brand products, making them a true crowd pleaser. And with quality guaranteed, you'll love your choice or get your money back. Score Kroger brand products with savings you can cheer for and great taste you can't resist. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Traveling to see your fave sports team is cool, but traveling with Amex Platinum for the big game is even better.
Right this way.
With access to dedicated card member entrances at select events, you can skip the line.
And one.
And with access to the Centurion Lounge,
he shoots a three.
You can catch the next game on the way home. That's the powerful backing of American Express. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/withAmex. Card member entrance access not limited to Amex Platinum Card.